Repair Clinic encourages you to perform this procedure safely. In this video, we will show one or more of these icons to alert you when to use caution. Most edger repairs will require some disassembly of the product. Before you attempt this, make sure the engine has cooled, and remove the wire and boot from the spark plug to prevent the engine from accidentally starting. Since some repairs require the removal of the carburetor fuel lines, we recommend you empty the gas tank. To remove the edger blade, insert a screwdriver into the housing to prevent the blade from rotating. Then use an 11/16" socket to loosen the mounting nut by rotating it clockwise. With the nut unthreaded, you can then remove the washer and the blade. Reinstall or replace the blade by positioning it on the shaft. Replace the washer, then thread the nut and tighten to secure. To replace the throttle cable, first use a T25 Torx bit screwdriver to remove the screw securing the throttle cable to the airbox. Note the location of the Z-end of the cable on the throttle plate, then detach the cable. Now remove the screws securing the two halves of the edger handle together. Pull off the bottom half of the handle. Remove the throttle cable from the trigger assembly and detach the cable from the handle tube clamp. To reinstall or replace the cable, secure it under the tube clamp. Then attach the barrel end to the trigger as you align the cable in the handle. If necessary, you can realign the trigger on the handle by depressing the spring and pushing the trigger into place. Realign the bottom half of the handle and replace the screws to secure. Attach the Z-end of the throttle cable to the appropriate hole in the throttle plate. Insert the cable into the slot in the airbox and replace the screw to secure. To access components like the clutch and starter pulley, use the T25 Torx bit screwdriver to unthread the screws securing the gearbox assembly. Slide the assembly off. If you need to remove the clutch, first detach the gas tank from the mounting posts and move it out of the way. Now use a socket or a spark plug wrench to help unthread the spark plug. Confirm that the piston is in the down position. Then insert a cord into the cylinder to prevent the piston from moving. Use a 1/2" socket to help unthread the clutch mounting nut by rotating it counterclockwise. You can now remove both the washer and the clutch. To uninstall the starter pulley and rope, use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the screw to release the upper rope guide from the handle. Use a flathead screwdriver to detach the lower rope guide. Pull off the starter cup and remove the starter retaining clip. Pull off the starter cam and ratchet pawls. You can now remove the pulley and unwind the starter rope. Use the Phillips head screwdriver to remove the screw securing the washer to fully release the rope from the pulley. Reinstall by threading the starter rope through the hole in the pulley. Loop the end of the rope and secure it with the screw and washer. Wind the rope counterclockwise around the pulley. Apply some grease to the pulley if necessary. Slide the pulley onto the blower housing shaft. Make sure the starter handle extends approximately 3/4 of the way towards the edger handle, then push the pulley into place. Align the ratchet pawls on the pulley and position the cam. Insert the end of the retaining clip into the notch in the cam and snap the clip onto the shaft to secure the assembly. Slide on the starter cup and insert the lower rope guide into the notch in the blower housing. Now align the upper rope guide in the notch in the handle and replace the screw to secure. If you need to access the engine, remove the screw securing the throttle cable to the airbox. Note the location of the cable on the throttle plate, then detach the cable. Note the orientation of the fuel lines attached to the carburetor, then detach them. Next, unthread the mounting screws securing the carburetor. Pull off the airbox and remove the carburetor. Now, remove the screws to release the carburetor adapter. Remove the cord from the cylinder. Remove the screws securing the engine cover. Pull the cover off. Note the location of the on-off switch wires, then detach them. Next, unthread the mounting screws securing the engine to the blower housing. With the screws removed, you can now pull the engine free. Reinstall the engine by sliding it into place in the blower housing. Replace the mounting screws to secure. Attach the wires to the appropriate terminals on the on-off switch. Reposition the engine cover and replace the screws to secure. Continue the reassembly by realigning the carburetor adapter, then secure it with the screws. Replace the adapter gasket. Now realign the air box. Reposition the carburetor between the box and the adapter. Then insert the upper mounting screw and thread it loosely. Insert and thread the lower mounting screw and tighten both screws to secure. Attach the fuel lines to the appropriate ports on the carburetor. Attach the throttle cable to the appropriate hole in the throttle plate. Insert the cable into the slot in the air box and replace the screw to secure. Confirm that the piston is in the down position. Then reinsert the cord into the cylinder. Make sure the starter cup is in place on the shaft, then realign the clutch on the cup. Replace the washer. Then thread on the mounting nut and tighten. Remove the cord from the cylinder. Rethread the spark plug. Be careful not to over-tighten the plug. Reinsert the fuel lines behind the retainers and reposition the gas tank on the mounting posts. Realign the gearbox assembly and rethread the screws to secure. With the reassembly complete, reattach the spark plug wire in boot, refill the tank with fuel, and your edger should be ready for use.